Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Seth Felt, and welcome to the very first episode of my brand new sports podcast, The Scorch Report. I'm very excited about this. It's been a long time coming, so I really hope you guys do enjoy. If you have any questions or any feedback for me, I'd really appreciate it if you put it down in the comments. And yeah, so basically in this first episode, I'm kind of going to go into each wildcard game for the NFL playoffs. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, who I think is going to win, and kind of what it means for both teams, whether they win or lose this game, and what it kind of means for their franchises moving forward. So let's do it. Okay, so kind of as you can see here, we got the 2025 NFL playoff picture. I think I'm just going to start with the AFC and then move over to the NFC. So first we'll start with Texans-Steelers. This game, I think the spread on it is -3 in the Texans' favor, even though it is in Pittsburgh. I think that makes a lot of sense. This game, I don't think is going to be very high scoring. Point totals around 40. That makes sense. The Texans have a great defense. The Steelers have a pretty good defense. And these offenses just aren't what they once were. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is getting up there in age, but he does have playoff experience. I think this game could be a lot closer than people realize. Obviously, like I said, Aaron Rodgers has playoff experience, even though he is old. And CJ Stroud is not what he once was as a rookie. Or at least he hasn't been playing like it. So I just think this game could be a lot closer. Texans still do have Nico Collins. Woody Marks has been good for them. And like I said, that defense is just incredible. So you never know here. These defensive shootouts, especially in Pittsburgh, it's probably going to be cold. Texans playing Houston, obviously. I'm not sure if that'll have any effect on them, but I definitely think this game could go either way. It also is worth noting that the Steelers have not won a playoff game in 9 years, I think if I'm reading here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't know if this game will change that streak, but you never know. So that's what I think about that one. But I'd probably pick the Texans to win. That defense is amazing. CJ Stroud has great moments. He can, turn it on. So let's hope he turns it on, and I think they can come away with the win. And what does that mean for Aaron Rodgers after this? I don't know. I don't know if he's confirmed that he's retiring. I don't know if it's still up in the air. But I just don't know what the plan for him moving forward is. It might be time to hang him up, Rodgers. All right, moving on. Bills-Jaguars. I think this game could definitely be the exact opposite of Texans-Steelers. I think this game could be pretty high scoring. Obviously, we have two good offenses here. Trevor Lawrence has been balling. We know who Josh Allen is. He turns it on in the biggest moments. But this Bills defense, especially the run defense, has been awful. It's been putrid. And I think the Jaguars could easily take advantage of that. Liam Cohen is a great offensive mind, and I think he knows where weakness is, and I think he knows how to hit it. Travis Etienne could have a big game here. I just think that there's going to be a lot of points scored. But I think if I had to pick a team to come out of here, I might go the Jaguars. I genuinely might. I know a lot of people are going to pick the Bills because Josh Allen, but I just think that if there was a defense that would make a play, I think it would be the Jaguars. Devin Lloyd has been having a monster season for them. If you look at the stats of Devin Lloyd on and off the field, it's night and day. He does so much for this defense, and I genuinely think that he could make a huge impact in this game, and it could be the one that decides it. I think that if I had to predict something, that would be it. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this one. What it means for Josh Allen if they lose this one, Josh Allen has had a lot of great moments. He's come up against these like dynasty level Chiefs teams and has fallen short. So it's kind of hard to put that against him, but man, it's kind of hard to see him, not get to another Super Bowl. He still hasn't been to one in his career. Him and Lamar are kind of in that tier where it's like, man, you kind of want to see them go at least compete for a ring. Like, they haven't even made it there. So I think I'm kind of putting them both in the same tier here. I think if they get bounced in the first round, what difference does it make that the Ravens didn't make the playoffs? They're kind of in the same tier with me. Like, man, when are you guys going to get it to the Super Bowl? So that's how I feel about that game. Like I said, I'll pick the Jaguars to come out of that one. All right, moving on to Chargers Patriots. This game is definitely very interesting. A lot of people have been saying that the Patriots had a really easy schedule this season, so they're not really sure if they can handle, the playoff atmosphere. Like I said, they got a lot of young guys, a lot of, not playoff experience. But what I like to compare this to, Mike Vrabel, back when he was the coach of the Titans, where they went into Baltimore and took them down. Obviously, Derrick Henry was a big part of that, but I definitely think Mike Vrabel is capable of pulling off something like that, where he can go into this game and kind of just coach his ass off and take care of business. Like obviously the Chargers, they got Jim Harbaugh, another great coach. They got Justin Herbert, who hasn't really shown himself in the playoffs here. Like, there's a lot of people advocating for Herbert. They're like, oh, it's not his fault. But like, what was it, 4 interceptions in the playoff game last year? That's just unacceptable if you want to, go on a playoff run and win a Super Bowl. Like, you just can't do that. And he's had those moments, and unfortunately, they have just come at the worst possible times. I think Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in this league. He has one of the biggest arms. He's mobile. He can make some of the best throws. He can make those elite throws that not a lot of quarterbacks can. But like I said, he's got to put it together when it matters, and I think this is one of those games. Like I said, the Patriots have kind of had a little bit of an easier schedule. They're not really battle tested like some of these other teams are. So I feel like if there's not any moment to come up big and finally put it on the map for your team and win a playoff game, it's this moment right here. Obviously, Patriots have been a good team all season. It's going to be tough, but I think if anybody's going to do it, and if it's any time, it's right now for Justin Herbert. That being said, like I said, I'm going to go with my earlier statement where I think Mike Vrabel is going to go in there and coach his ass off and get this done. So I'm going to pick the Patriots in this one. But like I said, now it's now or never, Herbert. It's now or never. All right, and as we jump over to the NFC side of things, first matchup here, we got Rams-Panthers. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. I think the Rams are going to kill the Panthers. Obviously, the Panthers beat the Rams earlier this season, but it's so hard to beat a team twice in the NFL. So for that reason, I just think the Rams are just going to take it to the Panthers and move on easily. I know it's in Carolina. I just don't think that matters much. Obviously, home field advantage matters in some games, but this is not one of them. I was trying to think of a position unit where the Panthers, have an edge over the Rams, and the only one I can think of is corner, maybe, because J.C. Horn's really good. But other than that, I don't know. Like, quarterback, obviously not. Love Bryce Young, but Matt Stafford obviously is better. Running backs maybe about the same. Rico Dowdle, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Chuba Hubbard, kind of the same there, but it's running back. Wide receiver, obviously the Rams got it. Don't know if Devontae Adams is supposed to play in this game. Don't think it matters if he doesn't. I still think the Rams clearly have the best receiver room because they have probably the best receiver in the NFL right now in Puka Nacua. So again, I don't think that matters. I guess tight end maybe. I guess you can give it to the Panthers if they want it, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think the Rams are going to absolutely take it to the Panthers, and I don't think they're going to mess around. Sean McVay obviously is a better coach than Dave Canales. He's won a Super Bowl before. I think he's might be the best coach in the NFL. Maybe that's a hot take, but I just don't see much hope for the Panthers in this game, and that's why I'm going to pick the Rams. But as far as moving forward for both teams, obviously the Rams are expected to win this game. I think they're 10-point favorites. I think they cover that. So I don't think it means much if they win this game. But if they lose this game, obviously that means a lot. If you got beat by the Panthers twice and that's what ended your season, obviously some conversations need to be had. Matt Stafford's not getting any younger. Obviously, he had some health issues to start the season, and obviously those didn't end up coming up. But that doesn't mean they won't come up later. And that doesn't mean that like I said, he's not getting any younger. So we'll have to see. But I don't think they'll lose this game. As far as the Panthers go, if they lose this game, I don't think it means a lot. The Rams were considered one of the best teams in the NFL most of the season. obviously they're kind of a little ahead of schedule here, but it's nice to win the division and be in a playoff game for the first time in a little while. So I think they could hang their hats on that. And if they win this game, my God, you own the Rams. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't know what else to say, because I don't think they're going to win, but you own the Rams if you win. That's just, you get to say that for the rest of your life, Panther fans. Make sure to tell a Rams fan you own them if you win this game. So, and yeah, let's move to the next one. All right, now we're going to move on to my favorite matchup of the wild card round, 49ers-Eagles. I think this game is going to be absolutely incredible. The 49ers are extremely hot right now. Weeks 11 through 17, they averaged 35 points a game upon Brock Purdy's return. That is insane. Brock Purdy has absolutely been slinging the rock. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings. This team has talent everywhere, and they always have. This is what we've come to know of these 49ers teams. They have all the skills position players, and just what has been happening at quarterback. But finally they got Brock Purdy back, so if he can stay healthy, I think this 49ers team can give the Eagles a run for their money. Obviously, the Eagles have kind of had an up and down season. They weren't as dominant as we expected, coming off a Super Bowl win, and we thought they retooled and they had this absolutely insane defense, which they still do. It's still very true, but the offense has kind of had some hiccups here and there. So they definitely have to get the offense going if they want to even stand a chance, because I think the 49ers could easily run away with this game if they can't get that going. They need to get Saquon involved early. They need to get him going, get him, open on screen passes or, quick runs up the middle. Whatever you got to do to get Saquon going, because if you become one-dimensional and you're throwing all the time, I don't think Jalen Hurts can get it done with a straight drop-back passing game. I genuinely don't. Jalen Hurts, obviously, his story of his career has been kind of up and down. Obviously, he's great in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, so let's hope he can elevate his game like that again this year. But like I said, if he can't, then I think they're going to be in trouble. As far as who I think is going to win this game, man, this is a tough one. Like I said, I think I'm still going to go with the Eagles just because the 49ers are extremely banged up on defense. But again, when are the 49ers not banged up? They always seem to make it happen. And I think with a healthy Brock Purdy, it's still very possible that they can pull this one out. But I don't know if they can overcome all those injuries on defense, especially Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, obviously two all-pro players. Not being available for this game is just really unfortunate, and I just don't know if they can overcome that. So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win, but I really think it's a coin toss. Like I said, it's also hard to beat teams that are hot going into the playoffs. Like, teams that are hot going into the playoffs, have a good track record of keeping that consistency, and they're going to be a tough team to beat. But I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. And as far as what it means for each team, if the Eagles go ahead and win this one, obviously, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. We expected them to at least get past the wild card round. But if they were to lose this one, kind of have some questions about Jalen Hurts. Like I said, he's kind of had an up and down season. The drop back passing game has, not been what it used to be. And it's kind of inconsistent. Obviously, they're not going to give up on Jalen Hurts next season. They paid him a crap ton of money, so let's not worry about that. But I just think maybe some uncomfortable conversations need to be had about that. And as far as the 49ers go, man, it's hard to really decide how we feel about the 49ers each season, because they are always injured. They always have a lot of their stars out or a lot of their key pieces out, and that's what we have to say about them. It's like, when are we going to decide that this is just who the 49ers are? They're always injured. They can never get healthy, and it's just unfortunate. I feel bad for 49ers fans, I really do, because how do you go through each season and all your stars just never play? Like, that cannot be fun to watch, especially the season ticket holders in Levi. Like, what? I'm going to the game and, Nick Bosa's out. Fred Warner's out. Brock Purdy's out again. Like, it's just so unfortunate, man. I don't know if these guys are injury-prone players or if something is going on with the medical team. Like, I think that needs to be investigated. immediately. So that's my take on that. But yeah, unfortunate injuries always happen for the 49ers, and it just sucks. It really just sucks. All right, last game of the video, Packers Bears in divisional matchup. Whew, this one's gonna be interesting. Packers started off real hot. A lot of people had them as the number one team in the NFC, maybe even the number one team in the NFL. Obviously, they trade for Micah Parsons, an All-Pro edge rusher, and you think that puts them over the top. But then the injuries pile up. Jordan Love misses some time here at the end. Micah Parsons obviously tears his ACL. You traded all that to get him. And now you're kind of wondering if you can, and you squeaked into the playoffs here at the 7th seed. So, it's definitely going to be tough. I think Jordan Love is supposed to be available for this game, which is good. Obviously they need him if they're going to go ahead and pull this one out. But yeah, if he can get things going, if he's having one of his good games, obviously Jordan Love is another one of those quarterbacks where when it's bad, it's bad. When it's good, it's really good. So obviously you want to hope that he starts off good. I don't think this Bears defense is too tough. I think if he's going to have a good game, it definitely makes sense against one of these teams. And yeah, so let's look at the Bears. Caleb Williams, obviously in his first playoff game, I believe, right? Yeah, his first playoff game. Offense has been firing on all cylinders here in the last few weeks. Huge development in Luther Burden. I am a huge Luther Burden fan. I loved him coming out of college, and he has been balling for them here at the end. Obviously, DJ Moore is not having the season you like him to have. Rome started the season off hot, kind of faltered down at the end. But Luther Burden has been amazing. And actually, something that surprised me a lot is DeAndre Swift has been very good. I do not like DeAndre Swift as a running back. And I think it was a way big overpay when they signed him. But he was pretty rough the first year, but he has come on late here and been huge for them. Kyle Monunga is a great piece for them as a kind of a change of pace back. But yeah, those guys have been heating up. Obviously, these two split the season series, so it's definitely kind of a toss-up. But like kind of, when they won is kind of, when the teams were doing well. So if I had to pick someone to win this game, it's going to be in Chicago. So I think with these divisional playoff matchups, home field advantage it plays a pretty big factor, obviously as much as it can. But so I'm probably going to go with the Bears in this one. I think that offense is firing, and this Packers defense and the secondary has been playing very poorly over the past few weeks. So I just think if Caleb Williams can drop back and hit quick reads and get his playmakers out in space, I think the Packers are going to have a hard time catching up. They still have Rashawn Gary rushing the passer, but other than that, it's kind of rough. Lucas Van Ness hasn't really been what they wanted him to be. And like I said, that secondary, just obviously they have Xavier McKinney, but those corners have just been getting absolutely torched. And I don't see why they would be any differently in this game. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. And as far as what it means for both teams, Bears, huge win. Rebuild is going a lot smoother than you thought. At least a lot quicker than anticipated. Caleb Williams' development is continuing to impress. If he can just keep getting better and better, things will look good for the Bears moving forward. And I think a playoff win would do good things for them. So, and as far as the Packers go, unfortunate that Micah got injured, but I just don't know if that's the story this season. I don't know if Matt LaFleur can be the coach anymore. I just think like he's had too many of these moments where they have high expectations, they go into the season, and then when the playoffs come around, it just all comes crumbling down. Obviously, I don't think they're going to fire him after the season if they lose, but I think he's definitely on the hot seat for next season if this does not go well. So, but if they win, then maybe his that job has a little bit more life. But I definitely think losing would be very detrimental to his job. But that's what I think, and those are my thoughts on all the playoff games. Obviously, I'm going to do another video on the next round when all the games are done, and I'm also hoping to do a video on the other teams that didn't make the playoffs, kind of what their plan should be for the offseason, what I think they should do in the draft, as far as off-season signings and re-signings and everything like that. So hopefully get that video done in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Obviously, I'm not really sure what my schedule is going to be with these videos, so I'm kind of still figuring it out. But like I said, if you guys have any feedback about that, or if I should do once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'm kind of still figuring it out. But once you guys see the videos, then obviously I'll let you know. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, I'm really excited to kind of go through these videos with you guys, and if you have any feedback, let me know. And have a great day. Thank you.